You are listening to Real Betis against Nottingham Forest in the Europa League live on Talksport 2. A reminder, this match brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, your home of European football. The two sets of players are out on the pitch. The Europa League anthem has been belted out. And just give us a flavour, Scott Minto, if you can, of what will be going through the minds of some of these Forest players who may not have experienced European football before.
Yeah, I think they'll just be a little bit more nervous than usual. They'll get the feeling of they are in Europe. It's that they're not playing at their normal stadium here in Betis, the Benito Villamarín. But let me tell you that the stadium that they got at the moment, that they're borrowing for a couple of years, makes it still feel like it's been their own for over 100 years. Holds nearly 65,000. The crowds are so passionate. I was so impressed with them in the Europa Conference League final. They were superb. It was their first ever European final, but they were superb. They're superb again tonight. So they're fighting against the fans as well as the players that they've got here. So absolutely, the very first game in Europe, probably the first game for many of these players, but certainly for Nottingham Forest in 30 seasons, the hairs on the back of the neck will certainly be up.
Yeah, we should mention this stage, Real Betis not playing at their usual home ground. That is currently being redeveloped, so they're playing at La Cartuja, which still makes for quite a cauldron-like atmosphere. I know Forest fans have been arriving in Seville, where Betis are based, as early as Sunday night, Monday morning, enjoying the local hospitality. Still very warm in that part of Spain. And this stadium is pretty much full to capacity as Nottingham Forest get their first European campaign since way back in 1996 underway. Our own Stuart Pearce was in the Forest team that played Bayern Munich in their last European game. Which of Ange Postecoglou's heroes in Garibaldi Red can write their name in Forest folklore over the course of this Europa League, you wonder? And Scott has already mentioned that this is probably the most difficult fixture that they will face in the league phase. They have Midtjylland at home a week tomorrow in what is sure to be a brilliant occasion at the City Ground. Porto come to town as well. Sturm Graz away. Malmo at home. That's obviously a special fixture, bearing in mind they won the first of their European Cups, beating Malmo in the final. FC Utrecht, Braga, and then Ferencváros of Hungary making up Forest fixtures in the league phase. We should have kicked off a couple of minutes ago. We are yet to get underway, so those Forest fans who waited 29 years, Scott, are going to have to wait just a little longer.
I don't think they mind. I think they're quite happy. As you say, they've waited this long. Atmosphere absolutely sensational. And yeah, you read those games they've got out. I think Braga away will be difficult, Sturm Graz away will be difficult, Porto at home will be difficult, but I do believe this is the toughest now, and I think I said it'll be the toughest game so far. I meant the toughest game of all the 8 games they've got coming up, and if they can come away with a point, I think that would be an absolutely brilliant point. Whatever anybody says about Ange still looking for his first win as far as boss.
I'm not exactly sure what the delay is all about, but the Forest players have just gathered in a huddle halfway inside their own half of the field. Morgan Gibbs-White, the captain this evening, with Ryan Yates only on the bench, is just leading that pre-match huddle. And belatedly, I think the referee is going to give the signal that we can get underway. The last time Forest played in Europe, take that one, number 1 in the charts with How Deep Is Your Love. Lady Diana had just agreed to divorce the then Prince Charles, and a pint of lager would cost you just £1.70. 29 years later, it is Gibbs-White, the skipper, who gets us underway live on Talksport 2 on this historic night for the men from the City Ground. And just to remind you of the Forest lineup once more: Matt Sells, the goalkeeper. It's Williams, Milenkovic, Morata and Zinchenko, the back four. Douglas Luiz, Sangare and Anderson, the midfield trio, with Hudson-Odoi and Gibbs-White in support of Igor Jesus in attack. And here is Sangare dropping to the edge of his penalty area before finding Gibbs-White. Forest looking to begin this game on the front foot, and it's Alexander Zinchenko well forward, plenty of Champions League experience in his locker. Zinchenko, he plays it out to his left, and Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's dispossessed by the right back for Betis, Angel Ortiz. But that was a positive start from the visitors as Anthony is side down by Zinchenko, and Betis have a free kick inside their own half.
Do you know what? I've been listening earlier about what the most fancied bet probably is, and I think it's a really good one. I mean, look, from an English point of view, hopefully Forest do not lose this game, but Betis to win, both teams to score. I can see that. Betis will go all out, and already you can see Zinchenko inverting when they got the ball as a midfielder, so it's not as if they're just going to sit back and try and defend. This is Ange Postecoglou playing the same way, home or away.
Well, it is a game that should guarantee goals. Betis have scored in each of their last 27 matches, would you believe, and Forest haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 15. They have, though, picked up an early yellow card. Morgan Gibbs-White shaking his head. The Forest captain has had his name taken inside 2 minutes, and it was pulling back Junior Firpo, the former Leeds defender. Is that sustained holding?
Yeah, I think it's enough to absolutely pull him back. I think there is, and actually I think Alexander Zinchenko was lucky not to get a yellow card as well for his foul on Anthony, where he literally has gone, put the ball past him. Zinchenko's just taking him out. I think what we've got here already is a really open game, really exciting game, with two teams playing attractive football where not only can they attack and score, but they can also, because of their style, give the ball away and maybe concede within 4 or 5 seconds.
3 minutes gone, Betis 0, Nottingham Forest 0. We will, of course, keep you bang up to date with what's happening elsewhere tonight, not just in Europe, but Carabao Cup action live over on Talksport. It's Port Vale 0, Arsenal 0. Goals elsewhere, though. Manchester City lead at Huddersfield 1-0. Phil Foden has scored there, and Newcastle 2 up already at home to League One Bradford. Joe Linton and Will Asula with the goals, and Spurs lead Doncaster 2-0. João Paulinho amongst the goal scorers in that one.
I think what's really interesting already, Zinchenko, when Forest have the ball, he is going into midfield, so you can see the intent of trying to attack and overload, and Elliot Anderson's then pushing on as an extra number 10. But what that does, if Forest lose the ball, there's that space for Anthony, and they're trying to play Anthony in. They overplayed the ball there, so we have to wait and see which tactics get on top. Is Forest with the ball and Zinchenko setting up some chances, or if they do lose the ball, well, Betis on the counter-attack and exploiting a left-back that's not there. That
was a shuddering challenge from Junior Firpo, who's been heavily involved early on Nico Williams. Williams goes down holding his face. It's just a stern talking to for Firpo. Nico Williams, who scored an excellent goal at Burnley in the Premier League for Forest in that 1-1 draw at the weekend. Ange Postecoglou yet to win since replacing Nuno Espirito Santo. And the ball is back with his goalkeeper, all in blue, away to our right-hand side, Matt Sells. He plays it out to his right-hand side, where Milenkovic can chip it forward. Nodded on by Igor Jesus, the Brazilian striker, preferred to Chris Wood tonight. Can't make it stick on this occasion, and Forest will build again inside their own half with Sangare. Flicks the ball over the head of Amrabat Sangare. Anderson, so careful, always in possession, knocks it back to Morata inside his own half, and then Jesus again climbs for the flick on, but only nods the ball back into Betis boots in the form of Nathan. And it's the home side who have possession now towards the halfway line with Sofian Amrabat, the Moroccan international, had a year on loan at Manchester United, was part of their squad that won the FA Cup under Erik ten Hag. Good spell of possession this for Betis, but Forest well grouped in red, shooting from right to left in the first half. The visitors from the City ground, and Nico Williams with some defending to do, and he does it well up against Abdi, and it's going to be a free kick for Forest. Abdi, who scored the Betis goal in that Conference League final last season against Chelsea, just a bit overzealous with the challenge, but Forest have given it away from the free kick, and Anthony with a ball into the penalty area. Sangare just about got there and just about managed to prod it back to the goalkeeper Matt Sells, who's been fouled by Bakambu. Well, they made a real mess of the free kick for us. It was Sangare dispossessed initially. It's a clever Through ball from Anthony, helped on towards Bakambu, and Sangare were very nearly passed it straight to the Betis striker. Just about. Matt Sells got there ahead of Bakambu.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying about how both these teams want to try and play football. It's interesting, it's not so much Forest that are doing the high press, but it is Betis when they can. Sangare was just sloppy, lost the ball. He got back into position really well and played it back to Matt Sells. He positioned himself perfectly. And in the end, it was a foul from Bakambu, but need to be careful about that. Forest cannot afford to give the ball away 20, 30 yards out.
Arsenal have taken the lead in the League Cup over on Talksport, away from home against Port Vale. Everici Eza with the goal in that one. So games in the Carabao Cup going to form at the moment. 7 minutes played here on Talksport 2. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT, your home of European football. It's Real Betis 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Free kick for Nottingham Forest for an offside. And no real chances for either team as yet. Here's Zinchenko with the blonde hair. The Ukrainian comes forward over halfway and exchanges passes with Igor Jesus. Anderson into midfield. And a lovely switch of play, looking for the run of Nico Williams. It was Douglas Luiz with a pass that just scooted away from Williams at the last moment and out for a Betis throw. Yeah, unlucky. Good play from Forest, going from the left. This time Zinchenko's feet on the touchline, playing it inside. And Douglas Luiz trying to sort of almost just ping it with the outside of his boot and hoping it would just curl into the path of Nico Williams, but it didn't curl enough. But that's what Forest need to do. Need to try and get hold of the ball, pass it well, switch play as quickly as possible, and then see if they can get Igor Jesus an opportunity. I mean, look, it's interesting. You know, some might say that Chris Wood's being dropped. I'd probably say that Ange Postecoglou was saying Chris is the Premier League striker and maybe Jesus is the cup striker. He's not necessarily going to be in the Carabao Cup striker anymore, so we'll look forward to try and play in as many games as possible. Given away by Douglas Luiz on the edge of the penalty area, and Akambu can't make the most of that. Picked up by Elliot Anderson, but he's forced back to his goalkeeper Sells. Good pressure from the front there from Real Betis in those green and white jerseys, black shorts and green socks. They're attacking the goal away to our right. Here comes Gibbs White at the other end. Plenty of Betis defenders between Gibbs White and the penalty area, so he plays the ball back into midfield, and Anderson on the edge of the centre circle. Opportunity maybe for Callum Hudson-Odoi to get a shot at goal. Right-footed low along the ground from 20 yards out, but straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, Pau Lopez. No, but it's good play, and the fact that Forest have even managed to get a shot on target, I think is certainly a plus point. But when you're 25 yards out and you're not quite in, your body's not in the right position, it's very difficult to score from a side footer. Just hit it, get your foot through it. Here's Hudson-Odoi again. Gets the ball back from Anderson. Hudson-Odoi at the moment hugging the near touchline on this left-hand side. Milenkovic, the tall Serbian international, brings it forward to Zinchenko. Tried to play it through the legs of Ortiz, but Betis with enough bodies back there to carry the ball over the byline for a Forest throw. Great feet from Zinchenko, I have to say. He went past one, then two, and the third Betis player came to him, and that's where they're really good. Bang at it they are in terms of the press, and they were like it against Chelsea in the first half of the Conference League final, and something that Forest will have to watch out for tonight. Betis coming forward over the halfway line. Ortiz up from full-back, felt he was impeded. No free kick, said the referee, and then Douglas Luiz wins it back just inside the Betis half, rides one challenge from Amrabat and then lays it off to Sangare, the tall Nottingham Forest number 6. And then Gibbs White back to the halfway line, and Milenkovic once more. Betis 0, Forest 0. 11 minutes gone on Talksport 2 on this history-making night for Nottingham Forest. Their first European assignment in the best part of 30 years. Hudson-Odoi back to Douglas Luiz, who's been a bit sloppy in possession at times. Maybe still trying to get back up to full match sharpness, the player on loan from Juventus. It was his signing that caused a real rift between Nuno Espirito Santo and the Forest hierarchy, as Gibbs White crosses deep into the penalty area over the head of everybody in red, but kept alive by Elliot Anderson. Left side of the box, Anderson back to Hudson-Odoi. Zinchenko is in space 5 yards outside the area. Gives it to Sangare. They're trying to pick their way through here, Forest, but Betis have got plenty of men back. Hudson-Odoi with a cross towards Gibbs White with a header from 14 yards out over the crossbar. It stays goalless.
It's been a really good start for Nottingham Forest. First time in 3 decades they're in Europe. The toughest game they've got of these 8 fixtures. They started the first 10-11 minutes really well on the front foot. 67% ball possession already. And they haven't conceded a shot on or off target as yet, although they have given the ball away a couple of times around the box. But going forward, I think Ange Postecoglou so far will be delighted with the start.
You are listening to the Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book Europa at enterprise.co.uk. Betis have won a free kick over on the far side. There's a Nottingham Forest player down injured after that. It was Milenkovic, who I think just got a stud in the head, having gone diving in on Bakambu. Milenkovic sent off for Serbia against England during the last international break. Looked a painful one. Yeah,
I think it was the knee in the head, which can be painful for sure. He's a strong boy, he'll get up.
Celtic still 0-0 in Serbia against Red Star Belgrade. Their Europa League campaign off and running tonight as well. A reminder, the latest from the Carabao Cup. We're at the 3rd round stage. Huddersfield 0, Manchester City 1. Newcastle leading Bradford by 2-0. It's Spurs 2, Doncaster 0, and Port Vale 0, Arsenal 1. That game live over on Talksport with a draw for the 4th round to follow. Foul by Douglas Luiz, who I think he's just been a bit off the pace, Scott, in these opening 13 minutes.
Yeah, it's not a tackle he needs to make, and he's lucky he hasn't got a yellow card there. Not gone anywhere near the ball. It's a touch first of all from Amrabat. Lo Celso just comes across. He's taking him out. Nowhere near the ball. It's very lucky not to receive the yellow card.
Giovanni Lo Celso, one of those 4 former Premier League players starting for Betis this evening, as Nata comes forward from the back out to the fullback Angel Ortiz. And then Nata goes back to his goalkeeper Lopez. Very patient build-up from the home side. I think Forest has done a good job actually in these opening 14 minutes of just stifling the atmosphere a bit. And it's Betis in possession in the left-back position with Junior Firpo. Long ball forward looking for the run of Bakambu. Picks it up now inside the penalty area. Not got much in support. Bakambu plays it against the legs of Milenkovic. Here's Anthony coming in from the right-hand side on his left foot. Slides it forward to Bakambu. And Real Betis take the lead. Anthony, the creator. And it's Bakambu who slams the ball right-footed beyond Sells into the top corner. A goal totally against the run of play. Forest won't be at all happy with the defending, but with 15 minutes gone, Forest's return to Europe is off to the worst possible start. It's Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
Do you know what? You're right, it is against the run of play, but this is European football for you, and Nottingham Forest, they better learn and quick. There's a simple ball over the top, exploiting the space of where Zinchenko wasn't tucking around, but they still should have been able to deal with it. A little bit of skill from Anthony, came inside. It's what he's been doing for Betis ever since, even last season. They love him here. And then a simple pass into Bakambu. No one's close enough to him. He gets the chance to take a touch and turn and give Sells no chance whatsoever.
Well, I wonder if there's a VAR check here for a potential offside when the pass was first played into Bakambu. I have to say my initial reaction was that he timed his run to perfection.
Yeah, and mine's the same as well. I mean, they've got to check it, and the referee's saying, look, we are checking. But my gut instinct was it was a perfectly timed run. He was able to look along the line and stay onside. You know, not the closest player to him, which was Marato. It was Milenkovic, I think, the other centre-half who was keeping him onside. That's really good centre-forward play. How often do you see it? And it is a goal.
The goal stands, and Real Betis have the lead. Bakambu with his 2nd goal of the season. as a stony-faced Ange Postecoglou looks on.
Yeah, I mean, it's poor defending, but it's really good centre-forward play. How often do you see centre-forwards, running offside and you're saying, look along the line, you stay onside? It's exactly what he did. He was behind Morata, but he was onside for Milinkovic. And because of that ball over the top, they were able then to get the ball to Anthony, got the ball back. There's far too much space in the box, though. It's really poor defending.
There wasn't much he could have done about it, but it does mean that Matt Sells is now 15 games and counting without a clean sheet. I'm sure that is an area that Ange Postecoglou will be keen to address. And I think his feeling will be that it was all too simple as Betis just picked their way through, given away by Morata to Anthony. Anthony with a scoop ball forward, left-footed, important header cleared by Milinkovic and then collected by Nico Williams in the right-back position. 17 minutes gone. Forest a goal behind here on their big return to Europe. And remember, Ange Postecoglou, 3 games in charge, no victory since replacing Nuno Espirito Santo as manager. Here's Callum Hudson-Odoi, dispossessed on the touchline right in front of his manager by Anthony, and it will be a Nottingham Forest throw.
You know what, Forest just need to keep on playing how they were playing from kick-off. Forget about that goal. Quite often you see teams that can be stunned by a goal and suddenly within the next 5 or 10 minutes they can see the second. Keep playing, keep being on the front foot. Said both teams can score. Well, one certainly has. I believe Forest can.
Hudson-Odoi into Zinchenko, edge of the penalty area. Douglas Luiz has found Gibbs White in space. Gibbs White across the box. Turned in by Igor Jesus from 6 yards out. And Igor Jesus becomes Nottingham Forest's first European goal scorer since Steve Stone way back in the mid-1990s. He points to the heavens. It was a well-choreographed, well-created goal and finished by Igor Jesus to make it Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 1. What a start to their European journey.
Steve Stone, remember him, trying to mark him. What a player. Well, I'll tell you what, Igor Jesus is now in the history books, the recent ones of Nottingham Forest, and it's really good play. And I said about how they've got to just keep being on the front foot. They will, it was checked for VAR for offside with the first goal. I think that this is going to be even tighter here. I do hope that Igor Jesus is just onside. A really well-worked goal, again from left to right. He's actually left far too much space, Morgan Gibbs White. And he's played a perfect ball in. And
the goal check is over. And as for Real Betis, Nottingham Forest on the right side of the decision. I agree with you. I think this one is probably just a toenail onside. But they all count. And what a reaction from Forest to conceding that early goal. Igor Jesus, inside 4 minutes, has got the visitors back on level terms.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's all about the reaction. And I said about make sure you're not stunned and suddenly you can see the second. They're very difficult to come back, especially in these conditions with this atmosphere and crowd. But no, I feel they can definitely not just draw this game, they can win it. I mean, that's an Ange Postecoglou mentality, isn't it? You concede, but you can score. We've got that both teams to score already. Cookie, I've got a feeling we've got a few more to come.
And it was interesting listening to our European expert Kevin Hatchard on Talksport earlier this evening tonight. He was on Drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent, and he was pointing out actually Ange Postecoglou's best results last season not only came in this competition, but quite often came away from home in this competition. Frankfurt in the quarter-finals. The semi-final as well,
was a good one,
which was deemed a difficult fixture.
It was difficult.
And they came through that, and of course the final itself in Bilbao, when he sacrificed his principles, really went for a more safety-first approach and ended up beating Manchester United by a goal to nil and delivering Tottenham their first trophy in 17 years. Here is Sangare, back to his goalkeeper Sells. Sells with the right-footed ball high up into the Spanish sky. Hudson-Odoi can't make it stick, and here's Anthony now. Anthony into the penalty area, and that was an important intervention by Morata, and he had to get that challenge right. Had he have mistimed it, Anthony would definitely have gone down. It would have been a penalty. Here's Amrabat for Real Betis. Both teams look vulnerable every time the opposition come forward. Free kick conceded by Amrabat. Forest will have the dead ball 10 yards outside their own penalty area. It stays 1-1.
Well, look, two things there, Morato. My goodness me, what a risky challenge to make in the box when you got your winger running at you as well. But in the end, it was perfectly timed. But you talk about the Frankfurt game, the Bodo Glimt game, which actually on paper was difficult, but they made it look a little bit easier in the final itself. He changed the tactics for all three games. You know, that's not your typical Ange. What we've seen so far in the first 20 minutes is, despite being, you know, in Seville, away from home, playing Real Betis, a team that have only had one defeat this season in all competitions and just score goals for fun, as you mentioned, in the last 27 games dating back to last season. Very attacking indeed. The Forest are taking it at them for sure.
Yeah, just won a corner as well, much to Nathan's frustration. He felt the last touch was off Igor Jesus, but it is a corner for Forest, away to our left-hand side. An opportunity for the likes of Milenkovic and Morato to come forward from the back. Sangare decent in the air as well. Of course, they don't have the aerial threat of Chris Wood tonight. He's only on the bench. His replacement, Igor Jesus, scorer of the Forest goal to make it 1-1. Referee just in conflab with Hudson-Odoi, stood right in front of Pau Lopez, the Betis goalkeeper. Corner to be swung in from this left-hand side. Right for the delivery and headed down and in. Igor Jesus again. And Nottingham Forest have turned this game right around. They've scored twice in the space of 4 minutes. It's the perfectly timed header from Igor Jesus for his second in quick succession into the bottom left corner to make it Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 2.
Oh, what a game. We thought this would be a good one. Interesting to see what the tactics would be from Ange Postecoglou. We talked about for Spurs in the quarter-final, semi-final and final. He changed them. Not changing them here tonight whatsoever. Difficult place to come, very much on the front foot. Conceded a poor goal, you have to say, but against the run of play. But the reaction has been superb. A really good goal in open play, and now another good one from a set piece. And well, look, he scored 2 against Swansea, didn't he? He scored 2 and counting against Betis tonight. Ange Postecoglou and all the Forest fans absolutely delighted.
And Ange Postecoglou will also be feeling that his decision to start Igor Jesus ahead of Chris Wood, who scored so many goals last season to get Forest European qualification, has been fully vindicated. 2-1 to Forest, and we've only played 24 minutes. Incredible stuff, live on Talksport 2. And what a response from Forest.
So we've literally just gone past, the halfway mark of the first half. So are we saying there's going to be, 12 goals in this game? I mean, there could easily be, couldn't there?
Well, you wouldn't rule it out with Ange Postecoglou. That is for sure. Still 0-0 over in Belgrade. Red Star against Celtic. That would be a good result for Brendan Rodgers' side. If they could come away with a point. Forest, well, they will now have their sights set on all three, having conceded early. 2 goals from Igor Jesus, who's now picked up a yellow card for a late challenge down by the corner flag. It's been an eventful opening 25 minutes for the Brazilian.
Yeah, but one thing Ange Postecoglou has to get across to his players now. I don't care how much adrenaline is sinking in. It's a naughty tackle. It's one of those that he comes across, and it's not even as if a defender has kind of kicked through and caught. He has caught the defender. It's a definite foul. It's a definite yellow card. Cannot afford to go down to 10 men. Got to keep the discipline tonight.
Well, Nathan has stayed down, so we are going to get a bit of a delay here. An opportunity for me to tell you about the live football that is coming your way in the coming days on Talksport and Talksport 2. Aston Villa start their Europa League campaign tomorrow at home to Bologna. That game is live on Talksport. It's been a turbulent start of the season for Villa. Yet to pick up a win in the Premier League on Friday night. We've got Championship action here on Talksport 2, bit of a Midlands derby between West Brom and Leicester. Saturday, 12:30, live and exclusive on Talksport. Brentford against Manchester United at 3 o'clock. Here on Talksport 2, we've got Championship commentary, Southampton taking on Middlesbrough, and a bonus commentary for you Saturday, 8 o'clock kickoff. It is Tottenham against Wolves. Scott Minto, part of your team for that one. On Sunday, we're going around the grounds on Talksport. Myself, Sam Matterface and Mickey Gray will be at St James's Park, where Newcastle take on Arsenal. So some huge fixtures to come over the next few days on the Talksport network, as always. As Real Betis come roaming forward down their left-hand side. Good defending by Morato, and then Gibbs White slides the ball forward to Igor Jesus, the two-goal Tricky Trees hero. Sangare again took a bit of a liberty with a pass back towards Milenkovic, and Forest are fortunate there that Bakambu couldn't make the most of it, and then there was a foul by Lo Celso trying to win the ball back on the byline. So Forest will have a free kick. It was Elliot Anderson who felt the force of that one.
Yeah, as poor as that was from Sangare, you cannot be like flicking it towards your centre half and giving the Betis the ability to try and win the ball back. It was brilliant from Elliot Anderson. Read the situation, got the ball, went towards his own byline, got the extra little touch, brought the foul, went down. Just kills a bit of time and pressure now. Brilliant from Anderson.
Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Here on Talksport 2, 28 minutes played of this Europa League opener. Matt Sales with a free kick, punted upfield, picked up in the centre-back position by Valentin Gomez. And now Junior Firpo knocks it down the left-hand side for Real Betis. Decent-looking ball as well. Trying to get in behind Nico Williams was Abdi. Now Giovanni Lo Celso, the former Tottenham midfielder, just rolls his studs over the top of the ball and plays it back into the centre circle. And Nathan, here's Anthony, down the Betis right-hand side. Forest have got plenty of red shirts back behind the ball, protecting this 2-1 lead, having fallen behind early. 2 goals in the space of 4 minutes from Igor Jesus. He's got the visitors in front. This is Lo Celso once more, though, into Firpo. Now Amrabat 10 yards outside the penalty area. Good defending again from Forest, forcing Betis back towards the centre circle, and Nathan. He plays it out to his left-hand side, Nathan, where Altamara will take over.
Well, it's really good defending from Forest, to the point where Betis almost had the ball towards on the edge of the box and went all the way back to the halfway line, and then it just that first moment where the crowd started to groan and not be happy with what they're seeing.
Here's Anthony, halfway inside the Forest half. Betis attacking the goal away to our right. Anthony comes in field and then switches the play out to his left-hand side, where it's collected once again by Lo Celso, or by Abdi rather. Abdi trying to rig it away from Nico Williams, and he rise the challenge of Douglas Luiz as well. Back into Anthony, now Lo Celso, forward to the Brazilian Anthony once more. Right corner of the penalty area for Real Betis. Anthony goes one way and then the other, crosses left-footed over the head of all of his teammates waiting in the centre and behind for a goal kick. It stays 2-1 to Forest.
Now there's brilliant defending from Forest. There's about a 2-3 minute period where Betis have had the ball and they're trying to go from one side to the other, but they're not able to. Going backwards a couple of times, then forwards again, and still not having any space. And in the end, Anthony's tried to do something, and he's just overhit it towards the far post. Brilliant defending, both individually and as a team, and something that you don't always say about an Ange Postecoglou side.
No wins in their last 5 for Nottingham Forest after that opening day victory against Brentford in the Premier League. But they are ahead here with 15 minutes of the first half to play. We did kick off a couple of minutes later than we were due to at 8 o'clock. As Morata plays a lovely ball forward, which is cushioned down by Zinchenko on the corner of the area. Back heel from Hudson-Odoi. Anderson with a cross to the far post. All opportunity for Gibbs White. Well defended by Firpo. Jesus with a follow-up effort is blocked. And then Sangare forward to Anderson once more. Anderson just outside the 18-yard box. Goes down under the challenge from the Celso, but no free kick, says the referee. Hudson-Odoi away from Amrabat. His cross falls kindly for Anderson. Great footwork from the England international. Pulls it back to Jesus, and Betis just about clear their lines. But Forest pressing here for a third goal. Zinchenko flicks it out to his left, and Hudson-Odoi continues his run. Zinchenko into the area, leaves one defender on his backside. Douglas Luiz with a shot deflected, and he's out of play for a corner for Nottingham Forest. They lead 2-1.
Oh, this is absolutely brilliant from Nottingham Forest. Great passing when they get a one-on-one situation. See Callum Hudson-Odoi, he's at Amrabat. He knows he just has to knock it past him and use his pace. And then Elliot Anderson, it's almost like watching Cristiano Ronaldo dancing through players in the box there, and he plays it back, and Igor Jesus nearly got his hat-trick, but it is all Forest at the moment. And if they can get that third goal, I'm not going to say they'll shut up this Betis crowd, but they will be absolutely stunned.
32 minutes played, corner for Forest. They scored from their last set piece. It is Zinchenko from the right to play this in left-footed. Oh, and it's hit the post. I think it was Milenkovic up from the back with a glancing header. And how have Nottingham Forest not scored their third? There were two Forest players who couldn't tuck in the rebound from no more than 2 yards out. And less off for Betis.
My goodness me, how was that not a goal? I think it was Jesus and Hudson-Odoi at the far post, almost getting in each other's way.
Douglas Luiz with a switch of play. Forest in the ascendancy here. Hudson-Odoi comes in from the left-hand side, trying to shift the ball to his right foot. Betis were aware to the danger, so it's out with Morgan Gibbs-White instead, into Nico Williams inside the area, and his cross goes right along the 6-yard line. Jesus couldn't quite get there. Anderson keeps it alive inside the box. Zinchenko with the effort, slapped into a Betis defender and out for a throw. This is really good from Forest. I'm not actually sure anybody made contact with that cross from Zinchenko. In fact, they did. It was Hudson-Odoi from 2 yards out against the post.
Well, he's unlucky in a way because he's had to react really quickly. But Igor Jesus is coming in behind him as well. And if he hadn't have got to touch Hudson-Odoi, then maybe Jesus would have done. And then in the end, it's come off the post, hit Jesus really quickly, and he wasn't able to react quick enough. Difficult one. I'll tell you what, Forest need to go for it now. If they get that third, they will definitely believe they can come away with all 3 points.
Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 2 on Talksport 2. They were behind after only 15 minutes, Forest, but 2 goals in the space of 4 minutes from Igor Jesus changed the complexion of their evening. Back on the European stage once more as Morgan Gibbs-White comes forward, and it's cleared away from inside the 6-yard box by Valentin Gomez for a throw. Really keeping the pressure on here, Nottingham Forest, playing with such intensity that at the moment Real Betis can't get out of their own half. Hudson-Odoi down the Forest left-hand side. He's going to run at Ortiz. He's into the penalty area, finds Elliot Anderson. Now Douglas Luiz on the edge of the box, shifts it to his right, and Nico Williams with the cross and help goalwards by Jesus with a clever little flick straight into the arms of Paul Lopez. But another really good Forest move.
Well, I'll tell you what, on another day he could have had 4 by now. I mean, Ange Postecoglou must be absolutely delighted what we're saying. Don't forget, when Betis went 1-0 up, we said it was against the run of play. And it's like, how's your reaction now? Well, how's our reaction? Well, we're not just going to score 1, we're going to score 2. But at this moment in time, if there's going to be another goal, it definitely looks like it's going to come from Forest.
That's the voice of Scott Minto, former European campaigner with Benfica. As Morgan Gibbs-White comes over the halfway line for Forest. Betis wanted a free kick, referee says play on, and Gibbs-White has found Hudson-Odoi, taking on Ortiz again, just bounces off Hudson-Odoi's shin and out for a goal kick. But I think he feels, the Forest number 7, like he's got the beating of his man every time he gets the ball.
He doesn't just feel it, he knows it. You know when a winger gets in a one-on-one situation, and Ortiz is very young, you know, he's got to say, someone come over and help me. But from a Forest point of view, they've got to look out for that all the time, that cross-field ball, and isolate the one-on-one, because Doesn't matter who's coming up against Hudson-Odoi, whoever's coming up. First of all, is Amrabat a little bit earlier, and normally it is Ortiz. And he's diving in. He got away with it there, but there's no doubt about it. Hudson-Odoi knows he's got the better of his fullback.
Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 2 here on Talksport 2. This game brought to you in association with TNT Sports, your home of European football. And what a start it's been so far for Nottingham Forest. I think Scott Minto is dead right. Ange Postecoglou will be beaming with pride, even if his face isn't necessarily showing it at this moment in time.
The thing is, I mean, they've had more possession. I thought it was more than 55%, but they've certainly dominated. But in terms of chances, 11 shots to 1, 4 on target to 1. It's been all Forest.
Here's Anthony, though, away from Hudson-Odoi, drills his cross to the edge of the penalty area. Forest win it back with Douglas Luiz. Elliot Anderson bundled over by Amrabat. It's going to be a free kick 7 or 8 yards outside the penalty area.
And Anderson is absolutely bossing this game in midfield. I mean, he's been sensational already in his first 35, 36 minutes. And Sangari's given the ball away at times. Douglas Luiz has looked decent when he's got forward, but not just when he's on the ball, but actually when Betis have the ball. He's getting himself in the right position, he's winning the ball back, and then he's winning a foul, which just takes the sting out of the game. But whenever he's on the ball, and especially when he's in and around the box, he looks like he can do anything with it.
Just seeing a replay of a quick-fire double from Igor Jesus that has given Nottingham Forest this 2-1 lead with 7 minutes of the first half to play. Ange Postecoglou won't be completely relaxed until they've got the third goal.
No, I think you're absolutely right. As much as Forest have been superb and they have dominated this first half, there's only one goal in it. I don't think Betis will be as poor in the second half as they have been in the first.
Half-time in 3 of the 4 Carabao Cup ties this evening. Huddersfield 0, Manchester City 1, Newcastle 2, Bradford 0, and Tottenham lead Doncaster by 2-0 as well. Arsenal a goal up away from home against Port Vale. That game live over on Talksport, still goalless between Red Star Belgrade and Celtic in the Europa League. And in Spain, it's Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Here is Anthony in the blue footwear for Betis. Gets it back, does he? No, not quite. On the edge of the penalty area, the pass from Abdi didn't find his intended target. More good footwork from Elliot Anderson, gets away from Amrabat and then finds Douglas Luiz on halfway. He stroked his pass out to Nico Williams, well forward, the Welsh international, back into Douglas Luiz, slightly behind him, just takes a bit of momentum out of this Forest attack, but they still have possession. And it's with Alexander Zinchenko. Great play again for Anderson in the build-up there. Zinchenko forward to Sangare. Here is Douglas Luiz. Anderson, the stocky England international, takes over. Zinchenko out to Morgan Gibbs White, right corner of the area. Nico Williams has made the run ahead of him and he's been found. Nico Williams looking for Gibbs White on the return. Just slightly overhit the pass and Gibbs White on the slide couldn't get the toe end on the ball that would have given the Betis goalkeeper Pau Lopez something to think about. Here come Betis at the other end with their goal scorer Bakambu. The Celso upended by Elliot Anderson right in the centre of the Forest half. It's going to be a free kick for Betis with Forest leading 2-1. Anderson goes down off the ball. Yeah,
I don't know what happened there. I think he's taken one for the team, certainly in terms of giving away the foul. A possible, well, it was a definite counter-attack. I'm not sure what happened to him. I don't know why he's gone down, but this is a... I've got to be careful how I choose my words here, but this is an absolute midfield masterclass from Elliot Anderson. In my head, I'm getting a comparison of a player who I don't want to mention in the same sentence because it's...
Well, you've got to do it now.
No, I'm not going to. But let's just say he's a World Cup winner who's dominated a World Cup final. And what I mean is, Elliot Anderson, when he's on the ball, he's playing at his own pace, and there's people running around him trying to get the ball off him, and they can't get anywhere near him. And if he needs to, he draws the foul and he goes down. If not, he's beating people not by sheer pace, but by pure skill. It's just absolute reading of the game, in the zone, and playing at your own pace, where everyone else is just trying with their little legs running around, and he's just like that swan with being very serene.
Well, we've got a potential penalty check going on here. The free kick from Lo Celso was scooped into the area. Looks like Forest are once again going to get the benefit of the doubt here. Matt Sells has the ball in his gloves. We're going to have to see a replay to tell you exactly what that was all about. It wasn't a brilliant free kick from Lo Celso. Over the head of everybody in green and white jerseys, and well, the VAR check was over pretty swiftly. Here come Forest meanwhile, with Anderson driving from midfield again. Jesus has gone down off the ball. Anderson into Hudson-Odoi, who just drags his shot right-footed wide of goal. The offside flag was up anyway. Really good play again from Elliot Anderson. It's more of a coming together with Igor Jesus and Amrabat than anything else, and Hudson-Odoi was just half a yard offside. It's a free kick for Betis with only 3 first half minutes to play. Forest leading 2-1 here on Talksport 2. And there's Postecoglou's team talk. I think will be reasonably easy to deliver. That's unless Betis get one back. And Anthony into the penalty area. Low cross looking for Bakambu, read by Sangare and then swept upfield, but Nathan keeps Betis on the attack. Sofian Amrabat takes over, and Amrabat out to Lo Celso, the Betis captain. Ortiz hugging the near touchline, plays a 1-2 with Anthony, only Bakambu to aim at inside the area. Lo Celso rolls it to his forward, then tries to get a shot away from the edge of the area. The ball bounces off Lo Celso and tamely into the gloves of Sells. You're listening to the Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book Europa at enterprise.co.uk.
Well, look, we're 2 minutes to half-time, and I don't know how many minutes are going to be on top, but it's a question now of making sure that they don't concede. Betis just having a little bit more in terms of possession, trying to get into the final third without really creating a chance, but the worst thing in the world after dominating this first half is to be going in level.
Here is Anthony, ball played forward down the right channel, well defended by Morato, putting his body between Anthony and the ball, but he has won a corner. Anthony certainly looks a lot more at home, doesn't he, in a Real Betis jersey than he ever did in a Manchester United one.
Doesn't weigh as much, does it, the Betis shirt? The United one, as we've seen from many players over the last decade or so, probably weighs another 4 or 5 kilos.
Well, they absolutely adore him in this part of the world. First corner for Betis, whipped in by Lo Celso. Not a bad delivery to the edge of the 6-yard box, but Forest with enough red jerseys to get it clear. Anthony's going to give it back to Lo Celso down by the right corner flag. Onto his left foot, dangerous ball in and hooked behind by Morato, facing his own goal. Real Betis coming on strong at the end of the first half. They trailed 2-1.
Yeah, good defending from Morato. If that had gone in behind, and Matt Sells might not have been able to react quickly enough with that ball just coming in towards the far post. But this is where I said about Betis have just come into the game the last 3 or 4 minutes, got to hold to half-time 2-1 up.
Nathan went down again there, and just an exchange of views between him and Morato. Another corner for Real Betis in the final few seconds of normal time at the end of this first half. Lo Celso stands over it again, short to Anthony on the edge of the area, back to Lo Celso, and that should be pretty routine for Matt Sells in goal. The Belgian plucks it easily from the sky as we move into added on time at the end of the first half. 2 added minutes, Forest leading by 2 Igor Jesus goals to 1, having fallen behind early. And looking to protect this slender advantage to take into the interval. Here's Anthony, edge of the centre circle, inside the Forest half. Looking for Bakambu, not a bad ball either, good pace on it. Forced away from goal by Milenkovic, and the back heel is intercepted by Zinchenko. And Nathan gives it away to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi only has Igor Jesus up in support. He did well there. Nathan, having initially been caught short, makes the challenge, and then that's a late tackle on Elliot Anderson, catches him, and it's a yellow card for the Brazilian centre-back.
Well, again, it's that man, Elliot Anderson. I mean, first of all, it was a great opportunity for a counter-attack, and Callum Hudson-Odoi had a couple of opportunities to try and just play Igor Jesus in. He didn't, lost the ball, and then Elliot Anderson won the ball and then just nicked in front of Nathan. It's a definite foul, it's a definite yellow card. And now Forest just need to see this half out. Matt Sells had the ball. I think he's given the foul initially from Elliot Anderson, which I didn't think it was. But Matt Sells had the ball just a minute or so ago and then played it to his centre-half inside his own box. Just don't mess with it then when you just got a couple of minutes before half-time and you're a little bit under pressure. Just go long, see it out, sit down, have your half-time cup of tea and then go again in the second half.
Yellow card for Nathan, the first Real Betis booking of the night. Both Gibbs White and Jesus, Forest 2-goal hero, had their name taken by the referee. Forest have a throw inside their own half, but there won't be time to take it because the half-time whistle sounds. Nottingham Forest return to European football after a 3-decade-long absence has certainly been eventful. Ange Postecoglou's side found themselves behind with only 15 minutes played. Bakambu firing right-footed into the top corner after being teed up by Anthony, but the response from the visitors was instant. Igor Jesus equalising just 3 minutes later, and 5 minutes after that Jesus had his and Forest's second to give Ange Postecoglou's side the lead. Chances at both ends since then. I don't think, Scott Minto, the scoring is over.
No, I don't, and you know that's the only reason why I'm slightly concerned. But I think Forest dominated that first half. I mean, in the end, it was 13 attempts to 1 and 5 on target to 1. I think that tells the story rather than almost a 50-50 in terms of possession. Best player in the park by a million miles, Elliot Anderson, but Betis will. They're a proud side. In front of their fans, they will come again in the second half for sure. So, got to be careful they don't concede any sort of silly goals, slip-ups, bad passes, even set pieces. So they will come on strong, as I say, in the second half.
So it's so far so good for Nottingham Forest on their return to continental competition. They lead Real Betis away from home by 2-1. Stay with us for what should be an incident-packed second half. You are listening to the Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book Europa at enterprise.co.uk.
Every emotion and total devotion.
It's game on. This is Talksport 2. Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
You can't see where the screams come from. You can't see what's below. And now, you can't see any escape. Ride coasters in the dark and step into the new Edge of the Forest scare attraction. Scarefest at Alton Towers Resort. There's no feeling like it. Book a day or a stay today. Open selected dates between September and November. Selected rides. Ride height restrictions apply. Age recommendations and additional charges apply for scare attractions.
Get class ready with Samsung and O2. Upgrade to the epic Galaxy S25 Ultra. Get a free 14-inch Galaxy Chromebook Go worth £399 and save £480. A laptop for staying on top of schoolwork and a Galaxy AI-powered smartphone that multitasks magnificently. Imagine what you could do. Buy before the 2nd of October from o2.co.uk. Claim from Samsung within 30 days of purchase while stocks last. Credit provided by Telefonica UK Limited. Eligibility and terms apply.
It's time to unlock cheaper electricity with E.ON Next. Our Next Smart Saver tariff gives you cheaper rates between 7 p.m. and 2 a.m. every day. So however you spend your evenings, air frying, popping a wash on, kitchen discoing, or kicking back and TV binge watching, you could be doing it all for less. Visit eonnext.com/smartsaver to find out more. Next Smart Saver is a 12-month fixed-term tariff with lower off-peak and super off-peak unit rates versus our standard variable tariff. Smart meter required. T's and C's apply.
You want the look. Clean, close, sharp. But you don't have time to play around. Meet the Pitbull X5 series from Skullshaver.com. Our best-selling shaver. Now even better. Smooth blades, stronger motor, better grip. Built for speed. Designed for skin. No mess, no mirror, no drama. 90 seconds and you're done. Fresh, confident, ready. Pitbull X5 range by Skullshaver. Available now at Skullshaver.com.
Time's running out on your old assumptions, Brian.
But Argos is just for toys, right?
Wrong. Sean Connie.
This Samsung Galaxy Watch tracks steps, sleep, and heart rate.
Yours is through the roof, Brian. There is more to Argos.
Get the latest tech and more on the Argos app today. Subject to availability in selected stores and argos.co.uk.
The Monopoly game at McDonald's is back. Play today with the Chicken Big Mac. So you can win big while tucking into the 3 layers of soft bun with delicious gherkins, the iconic Big Mac sauce, and crispy tender chicken patties. Go on, it's your go. From 11 a.m. until the 21st of October, participating restaurants, subject to availability, app may be required. 18 plus, UK, see mcdrules.co.uk.
Online, on DAB+, and on the app.
This is Talksport 2.
Get updates on the teams and squads, plus all the latest betting odds. All it takes is just one tap. Kill boredom dead with the Talksport app.
The Talksport app. Hear, watch and scroll unbeatable content from the world's biggest sports radio station. Whenever you want, wherever you want. Available from the App Store now. Terms and conditions apply.
On DAB+, online, via the Talksport app and on your smart speaker.
Oh, what a finish! The Europa League live on Talksport 2.
History-making night for Nottingham Forest, their first European assignment in the best part of 30 years. Slides it forward to McCampbell! And Real Betis take the lead! Anthony, the creator. Forest return to Europe is off to the worst possible start. Douglas Luiz has found Gibbs White in space. Gibbs White across the box. Turned in by Igor Jesus from 6 yards out. And Igor Jesus becomes Nottingham Forest's first European goal scorer since Steve Stone way back in the mid-1990s. Corner to be swung in from this left-hand side. Right-footed delivery and headed down and in. Igor Jesus again. And Nottingham Forest have turned this game right around. They've scored twice in the space of 4 minutes.
Oh, what a game.
Take that, Real Betis. That's what the travelling Nottingham Forest fans will be thinking at half-time. A goal down after 15 minutes, but 2 goals in the space of a little over 4 minutes from Igor Jesus has changed the course of the evening. It's been a brilliant first half, Scott Minton. I think Forest fully deserve their lead.
I think the scoreline flatters Betis rather than Forest. I think they've been that good. You know, 1-0 came at a time when we said that it was against the run of play. But then it's about how's your reaction? And the reaction was absolutely superb from Nottingham Forest. They've dominated, really, almost from start to finish. Betis have had a couple of chances, and I think the goal itself to concede was a very poor one. There's no way that Bakumba should have been given that amount of time in the box. But still, apart from that, it has been an absolutely perfect Forest performance. And the only disappointing thing is there's only 1 goal in it.
Second half commentary to come from La Catuja, where Forest lead by 2 goals to 1. Elsewhere in Europe tonight, in the Europa League, it's Red Star Belgrade 0, Celtic 0. In the Carabao Cup, live over on Talksport, Port Vale 0, Arsenal 1. That despite Mikel Arteta naming a very strong Arsenal side. Tottenham 2, Doncaster 0. They are into the second half in that one. Newcastle 2, Bradford of League 1 0. It's Huddersfield 0, Manchester City 1. Phil Foden with the goal for Pep Guardiola's side. Let's look ahead to tomorrow, where it's the first European match day for Unai Emery and Aston Villa this season. After no wins from their first 5 Premier League games, it's a home tie against Serie A side Bologna. Is that what they need to kick-start the season, you wonder? Well, let's hear from the beleaguered Aston Villa manager Unai Emery, who was asked about recent speculation surrounding his future at the club.
The speculation, I don't know the speculation. The reality is, okay, we draw. In the league we are not performing well. But speaking about it, work. work hard with the players as well. I had meetings after the match on Monday. Today we were speaking about openly about how we want again to build the team, and as well tactically, individually, our demands, our commitment to do everything, the competition we're going to face tomorrow, Europa League, and for us as well is very exciting moment to play again in Europe. And then on Sunday we will speak again about the league against Fulham.
That's Unai Emery looking ahead to Aston Villa against Bologna, live on Talksport tomorrow night, an 8 o'clock kickoff in the Europa League. And could this be the competition, Scott, that kick-starts Aston Villa's season, because it's been really disappointing for them so far?
Really disappointing. And look, you can half understand it, but there's no way they should be where they are in the Premier League right now. You know, not just not winning games, but not scoring. I did feel, you know, I was listening to Emery, and at one time listening after a game when Sam Matterface spoke to him, and it didn't sound his normal self. And this is, you know, a very early in the season. It just felt like things weren't right. You could see he hasn't been happy. Obviously, that game at Old Trafford at the end of last season, I think, has been an absolute killer for them, not qualifying for the Champions League. And clearly he's not been happy with recruitment or what he wanted. You know, Monchi going now as well. Is he part of that decision, Emery? You'd imagine no. So, yeah, things aren't quite right. But sometimes you need a game like this and a difficult one where you're thinking, oh, up against it here, and you play really well. I mean, tonight for Nottingham Forest, not necessarily for Forest, but for Ange, you know, he could do with a win just to kind of tick that box. But from Aston Villa's point of view, I genuinely think if they can get it right, they've still got really good individuals. If they can get it right as a team, they've got a fantastic manager who knows how to win this competition. I definitely think there's another team that can go all the way.
I just wonder how unsettling the summer has been, not just for Unai Emery, but for some of Villa's star players as well. I mean, Martinez obviously was left out against Crystal Palace when he thought, I think, that he might end up at Manchester United on transfer deadline day. To his credit, he's come in and produced a couple of really good performances. Ollie Watkins, who was also subject of interest to Manchester United, is yet to score a goal in the Premier League this season. And even Morgan Rogers, who obviously has the extra incentive of trying to play his way into Thomas Tuchel's England starting 11, not just the squad, in America next summer. There was a lot of big clubs interested in him, and he's been underwhelming for Villa so far.
Yeah, maybe they've all been a little bit unsettled. I mean, Martinez is a very experienced player, and, you know, he's obviously, you know, he's won the World Cup, and I think he thought he was going, and would have been I mean, if I were Manchester United, I would have loved to have signed both Ollie Watkins and Emi Martinez. And I think from Villa's point of view, I think it's great that they've got them back. And Martinez, as you say, has played pretty well, but you know, need a really firing Ollie Watkins and a firing Morgan Rogers. I really like both of those players. But that's where I talk about individually and sort of on paper. You know, Villa, there's no way they should be where they are, and they should have, you know, again, be fighting for Europe. But at this moment in time, they just need to get some wins together to get themselves away from the relegation zone. In terms of Europe, you know, you don't have to peak. I mean, PSG showed it last year in the Champions League. You don't have to peak early. You just have to sort of get through and then develop as the season goes on. But yeah, there's no doubt about it. Villa are, well, they seem a million miles away from where they were towards the end of last season, don't they? Where, you know, even PSG officials are saying Villa was the most difficult side they came up against.
Well, that game against Bologna live on Talksport tomorrow as Villa begin their Europa League campaign. Forest at the moment are going to get theirs off to a flyer. They lead by 2-1 away from home against Real Betis. What will be the tone of Big Ange's half-time team talk, Scott?
More the same, mate. I think that's a really bad accent, by the way, but I think he'd be delighted with what he's seen in the first half. I think he'd be disappointed the goal that they conceded, and actually I think 2-0 would be a fair scoreline at this moment in time. I just go back to the fact that we've got a Betis side that are a very proud side, playing in front of their fans who, you know, really get behind them and incredibly passionate, which again goes to show just how well Forest have done. I wouldn't say quieten the crowd, I'm certainly not quieting them. They've probably gone down to just deafening now, but you know, they definitely have looked at times where they've gone backwards, Betis. The crowd has sort of groaned a bit, and if they can do more of that and force more of that, where even when they haven't got the ball, Forest, but look dangerous when they have, then I think the crowd will not start to turn, but make their players a little bit more nervous. That third goal, if Forest can get it, I genuinely think will kill it off. Until they get it, I'm still slightly nervous for them.
It's interesting, you alluded to the fact that Forest have had more of the ball, 52% possession to Betis' 48. That has been the story of the season as far as Nottingham Forest are concerned. They have more possession than their opponents in 5 of their opening 6 games before this trip to Spain, and I think that's a reflection of the fact that they are trying to become a more possession-based side. I know that was a topic of debate between Nuno Espirito Santo when he was the manager and Edu the sporting director, but they had started to go that way even before Ange came in.
Yeah, you're right. You said 5 of the 6 games, so don't forget Nuno was in charge for 3 of those as well. So there's no doubt about it. Even with Nuno in charge this season, they were playing in a much more progressive way, trying to press a lot higher, have a little bit more of the ball as well, and develop the style that clearly the owner Marinakis wanted.
We are going to see a Forest change by the look of it at half-time, and it's going to be Bakwa to come on. I wonder if that will be at the expense of Douglas Luiz, who was guilty of giving the ball away cheaply on a few occasions.
Well, so was Sangare as well, so it's, it could be almost a take your pick, to be honest with you.
Betis are going to make a change as well, and this is a player that Bournemouth fans will be familiar with. Rodrigo Riquelme is coming on, played against Forest for the Cherries in the Championship back in 2020 when he was on loan at the Vitality Stadium, and it looks like that won't be the only Betis change. It could be a triple substitution.
I think that says everything about how Pellegrini read that first half, and I think we all have. As I say, the scoreline flatters Betis, not Forest by any stretch of the imagination, and he wants to try and make changes and change it because Elliot Anderson, Igor Jesus has got 2 of the goals and in many ways will get the headlines, but Anderson has absolutely been the star for me. He's dominated, but not just when he's been on the ball. He glides past players, but actually even without the ball, his positional sense from a defensive point of view has been superb.
And it is Douglas Luiz who hasn't re-emerged, so that is the change for Forest. Bakwa, who did start the last Premier League game against Burnley, is on for Douglas Luiz, and as I said, there's going to be 3 changes for Betis. Mark Roca, once of Leeds United, one of a number of former Leeds players on their books, is also coming on along with Riquelme. Just looking to see who the third substitute will be. Manuel Pellegrini wasting no time in making these alterations. Junior Firpo is replaced by Ricardo Rodriguez as the final of those 3 half-time alterations. Abdi is off as well, unable to recreate the heroics from the Conference League final, and Sergei Altamara is replaced in midfield by Riquelme. Well, we are just about ready for the second half with those changes made. A reminder, this game is brought to you in association with TNT Sports, your home of European football. And it is Real Betis in their green and white striped jerseys, black shorts and green socks to get us underway in the second half. They are shooting from right to left. Forest in their Garibaldi red jerseys, white shorts and red socks, attacking a goal away to our right. Very interesting changes made by Manuel Pellegrini, vastly experienced man in the Betis dugout, the oldest manager ever to take charge of a European final, as they were beaten in Poland by Chelsea in the Conference League, which Forest do immediately launch the ball long upfield. Now to play over the head of Bakwa, and it will be a throw-in to be taken by Rodrigo Rodriguez. One of those trio of players brought off the bench at the interval. Ortiz down the right-hand side he goes to Anthony, who continues to exude confidence, rarely seen at Manchester United when he was their player. They took a massive hit on him, £60 million they lost, selling him to Betis for around about £25 million in the summer. the second most expensive player in United's history behind Paul Pogba. Antony, and he's on the ball here over on the right-hand side. I'll remind you of the Forest team in just a moment as Antony tries to slide the pass through for Bakambu. Intercepted and picked up by the excellent Elliot Anderson, who shrugs off the attentions of Amrabat and then feeds the ball to his left-hand side in Zinchenko. Zinchenko just took on one player too many there, and here is Bakambu inside the area, stopped in his tracks by Morato, and then a foul by the centre-back for Betis. Nathan gives Forest a free kick. Igor Jesus upended. So the Forest team for this second half, as it was, or one change, at half-time, with Bakwa coming on. So Sells the goalkeeper, Williams, Milenkovic, Morato and Zinchenko the back four. It's now Bakwa alongside Sangare in midfield, with Anderson ahead of them, and Hudson-Odoi and Gibbs White either side of Igor Jesus up front. Anderson with room to turn inside the centre circle. Options to his left and right. Here's Hudson-Odoi now, shooting right-footed from the edge of the area, but that is too close to the goalkeeper, Pau Lopez.
No, but again, get the ball out to Hudson-Odoi. He knows he's got the beating of the youngster Ortiz. This time he's come inside, and it's not the best of shots. I mean, he's got it on target at least. You try and aim a little bit more towards the far post, where if it's parried, Igor Jesus can come in and just simply tap it in, or even just sort of whip it across for Jesus to come across the box.
Betis 1, Forest 2. 3 minutes gone in the second half here on Talksport 2. Over on Talksport, Arsenal still leading away from home against Port Vale by a 0-0 in the Carabao Cup third round. Antony is bundled over on halfway by Zinchenko, so it's a free kick for Real Betis. Antony just backing into the Arsenal loanee Zinchenko. He was on the bench when Manchester City won the Champions League. Lost the Champions League final to Chelsea back in 2021. Apologies, Scott Minto. Here's Amrabat playing the ball into midfield. Betis having plenty of possession early in the second half. Riquelme, down the line he goes. And the cross in from Roca is intercepted and cleared by Forest to Igor Jesus just inside the Betis half. He's not got too many red shirts around him, and he just runs the ball out for a throw for Betis. He is a tireless worker, isn't he? Igor Jesus outside the penalty area.
Yeah, he's not lightning quick, but he's sharp, he's strong, he's big, but his movement's good. You know, and you look at that simple tap-in that he got. It's right place, right time. It's a proper striker's goal. Not lots of number 9s out there anymore, but he's certainly one of them. Sniffing danger, knowing where to be, and then obviously the header from the corner was a really good one as well. So he's a very good all-round number 9.
And it's his 2 goals in the first half that have given Nottingham Forest this 2-1 lead. They were behind before that quick-fire double. Here's Antony getting away from Hudson-Odoi, closed down by Elliot Anderson, who didn't give the free kick away. Antony screaming at the fourth official that he was fouled. Betis continue in possession with Amrabat in the centre of the Nottingham Forest half away to the left. Here's Riquelme, dink forward, gets it back. Riquelme in the left wing position from Lo Celso, runs into Nico Williams. Again, the referee's not going to give a free kick. He will though for the foul by Amrabat on Morgan Gibbs White. You certainly can't accuse this official of being intimidated by the home fans.
Yeah, just about to say that. I mean, 2 really good decisions. First of all, Betis players and fans suddenly went up in arms when they felt they should have got a foul. It wasn't a foul. And then Morgan Gibbs White was fouled by Amrabat. And not in any way was the referee swayed. Very good, strong ref tonight.
Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 2. We've played 6 minutes in the second half. Betis, who beat Real Sociedad 2-0 at the weekend. They're yet to win back-to-back games this season. In fact, they've only won 2 games in all competitions. It's not been a stellar start to the season for them. Forest looking for their first win in 6, and their first under the stewardship of Ange Postecoglou. How would you assess the start of this second half?
I think, as I said at half-time and towards the end of the first half, the Betis were going to come stronger.
And here is Riquelme, right on cue, dispossessed by Nico Williams. Again, the home fans are screaming for a free kick, and it's Amrabat penalised once more for taking out Elliot Anderson.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think both those possible decisions, one to give Betis a free kick just 20 yards out, and then the one that was actually given to Nottingham Forest 25 yards out, I think both of them were the same. Talked about how the referee is strong, he's certainly showing his strength. He's not a homer by any stretch of the imagination. It was just dangerous though, as Betis were running in towards the box or getting close to. Don't want to be making any fouls, the referee does think it's a foul, and suddenly one great strike and it's 2-2. But you asked me, sorry Crookie, how I thought the second half has gone, and I'm not surprised at all. Forest still playing confidently, but Betis better than they were in the first half.
Amrabat shielding the ball there under pressure from Gibbs White, wins a free kick inside his own half, quickly plays it forward for Anthony, looking to release Bakambu, but Morato had the head start, ushers it back to Matt Sells. Here's Anderson, allowed to run towards the centre circle, for once he overcooked his pass. Betis had the ball back, but only momentarily, and it's with Bakwa now in the right wing position. Little cushion pass by Gibbs White to Sangare, a tangle of legs between two of the half-time subs. Rodriguez and Bakwa. No free kick again, says the referee, and Real Betis have it now with Nathan at the heart of their defence. They lead Nottingham Forest here by 2-1. Igor Jesus had the double in the first half as Forest came from behind to lead. But they're having to soak up plenty of Betis possession in the early exchanges since the restart.
That's brilliant pressing from Igor Jesus, it really is, but he does have to be careful. You know, he's already on a yellow card, and one thing he does not want to do is, by trying to press well, give away a foul and a second yellow, and suddenly Forest are down to 10 men.
Morgan Gibbs White can't keep possession, chipped over the top of the Forest defence towards Anthony. Anthony picks up possession down by the corner flag, dribbles his way into the penalty area, tries to poke the cross for Bakambu, swept away by Morato. Forest leading 2-1. Igor Jesus wanted a foul, referee decides it was a free kick the other way. Nathan takes it quickly, and Real Betis with plenty of green and white jerseys inside the Forest half now. Amrabat out to his right-hand side. Little ball over the top, looking for Ortiz into the penalty area, pulls the cross back. Only to Sangare, but they've not cleared their lines yet. Forest, Zinchenko does get the ball away, and then Anderson cleverly through the legs of Amrabat before drawing the foul from Anthony. Free kick Nottingham Forest, 10 yards shy of the centre circle. They lead 2-1.
Yeah, just got to be careful. Forest are so confident at the moment, and Elliot Anderson in particular just tried to dribble the ball out, lost it, they won it back, and he's got the ball again and he's won the foul. But yeah, just a couple of times now Betis have gone down their right, Forest left, and one of them got away with it, I think, really, because Anthony's a one-on-one situation with Zinchenko, and defending one-on-one is not his strong point. He's got inside the box, and in the end he's just tried to flick it with the outside of his left foot, Anthony, and simple defending in the end. I was certainly worried for the left back there.
55 minutes gone, Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Betis in possession with Nathan, but deep inside his own half. Forest again, well organised, keeping their shape, out of possession well. And actually we're not seeing that high defensive line that was the trademark of Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham tenure.
No, I think it's fair to say the amount of pressure, the amount of stick he kind of got with Spurs, but ultimately the results that they had in the league, I think he learned from that, and that's what we saw towards the end of the Europa League, and why I believe Spurs went on to win it. And I think he's realising, yeah, okay, I've got to just taper it a little bit. I can't play with such a high line.
Because with the greatest respect to Messrs Milenkovic and Morato and even Murillo when he's fit, they aren't Mickey van der Ven, are they?
Well, I mean, Murillo's the fastest out of three, and he's not playing tonight, but none of them are anywhere near a Van der Ven, so I'm sure they are absolutely delighted to be saying that just drop 10 yards. You're going to have to be on the halfway line. It's not as if they're camping deep though, but it's just not a silly high line.
Here's Morato. Betis have had more possession since half-time, but Maxwell's not troubled as yet in the Forest goal, and Zinchenko's played a good ball out to his left, and Hudson-Odoi gives right, made a darting run ahead of him. Instead he picks out Bakwa inside the area, and the left-footed volley is high over the crossbar. Took it first time and never really looked like keeping it down, Bakwa.
No, but it's kind of a counter-attack without the invader so much pace, but still the ball goes out to Hudson-Odoi, who Ortiz doesn't want to get too tight to him. He comes inside, whips it to the far post, and that's half a chance. It really is. If he gets that on target with good contact, I'm not sure the keeper gets anywhere near it.
You are listening to Real Betis against Nottingham Forest in the Europa League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Riquelme dispossessed by Bakra, and then a free kick conceded by Rodriguez in the Forest right-back position. Forest 2-1 up here over on Talksport in the Carabao Cup third round. It's still Port Vale 0, Arsenal 1. Closing stages at Huddersfield, where Manchester City have doubled their lead. Savinho only played a handful of minutes in the Premier League. He has a goal tonight. They lead 2-0 Manchester City. It's Newcastle 2, Bradford 0 in the Carabao Cup, and Spurs 2-0 up at home to Doncaster. Celtic have taken the lead in Serbia. Kelechi Iheanacho makes it Red Star 0, Celtic 1. Good night for Brendan Rodgers' side. Good night for Forest here at the moment as well, who lead 2-1. Here's Anthony though, making his way towards the penalty area, shooting left-footed. He gets right underneath the ball and hammers it high over the crossbar. That was like one of my golf tee shots from earlier today.
What do you mean, one of them?
Most of them.
It was one of his shots that he got quite regularly in the Manchester United shirt, wasn't it? Look, since he's gone to Betis, he's been brilliant in La Liga. He really has, and in Europe last season, the fans absolutely love him, but got to do better there.
Here's Sangare stroking the ball out to his left, and Hudson-Odoi, who in this second half, Scott, is wearing a wrist strap. I'm not sure he had that in the first, did he?
It's a good question.
Hudson-Odoi to Elliot Anderson. Anderson trying to play it forward to Nico Williams, but the pass intercepted, picked up by Bakwa now for Forest, right in front of Manuel Pellegrini, the Betis coach, on this near side. And then Sangare gets the ball trapped under his studs, and that allows Betis to come forward on the counter-attack. Lo Celso into Bakambu. Here's Rodrigo Riquelme for Betis. He shot in the end is blocked away. It was Mark Roca trying to slam one in from 25 yards, but Betis have the ball back now with Rodriguez in the left-back position. Hour gone, Forest leading by 2-1 on Talksport 2. And it's Nathan just inside his own half for Betis, who continue to dominate possession without really creating any opportunity to get back on level terms.
Yeah, I think Forest have defended very, very well as a team, and not really let Betis have a clear-cut chances yet. Very well organised. Ball's going from left to right and right to left, forcing mistakes.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi quite able to benefit there. Lo Celso, I think, giving the ball away, slides it and wins it back for Real Betis, and then tries to play it forward to Bakambu, but it's intercepted by the huge frame of Morato, and back with Milenkovic now, one of the key men for Forest last season as they achieved this qualification for Europe, originally in the Conference League, but benefiting from Crystal Palace's demotion due to multi-club rules, find themselves in the more prestigious Europa League. Here's Nathan for Betis forward into the Forest half, and Amrabat. Again, everybody in red back behind the ball. Forest continue to defend well. Only half an hour to play. It's Real Betis keeping the ball, but not really in an area where they can hurt the men from the City ground. Nathan brings it forward out to his right-hand side, and Anthony. It's possession with no real penetration at the moment.
But that's because Forest is so well set up. Without the ball, it's a 4-4-2. Morgan Gibbs White is pushing up alongside Igor Jesus and not allowing them to play the ball out.
Here is Rodriguez though. Dispossessed by Nico Williams on the corner of the penalty area. Williams quickly forward to Gibbs White. He goes down off the ball, but the referee's going to play an advantage here because Forest have got 4 against 5 momentarily. Callum Hudson-Odoi, left wing position, forward to Zinchenko. Nathan slips and that allows Zinchenko to find Anderson on the edge of the area. Anderson shoots, blocked only as far as Sangare. Now Nico Williams once more, back on his feet, out to Bakwa down the right hand side, level with the 18-yard line. And Morgan Gibbs White, the captain, gives the ball away, and Real Betis will try and counter with Lo Celso on the left of their midfield. Here's Rocker now, the ex-Leeds man. Plays it back to Nathan. Nathan out to the right-hand side and Ortiz. Over halfway is Amrabat in possession now. Bakambu looking to make a run ahead of him instead. Amrabat feeds it down the line to Ortiz. Hudson-Odoi doing his defensive work. Pokes it cleared down by the left corner flag, and then Elliot Anderson calmly shrugs off the attentions of Amrabat and wins a throw. In fact, the throw-in has gone to Real Betis down by the right corner flag, and it's taken quickly and played into the path of Anthony. Anthony skips away from Anderson into the penalty area, trying to shift the ball all the time onto his left foot. Now Lo Celso just outside the box. Amrabat forward to Ortiz. Ortiz with a cross, which is headed away by Morato, and Betis have a throw. They are just beginning to ask 1 or 2 more questions of the Forest defence. 64 played, Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 2 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, we knew that Betis will come on stronger in the second half, but Forest have been excellent the way they've been so well organised and not allowing those vertical passes to come in and any of the attacking players to be able to turn and have a shot at goal. But clearly Ange feels that the control of the game is not there, and that's why he's making 2 subs now.
Yeah, one of the players going off is the 2-goal hero from the first half, Igor Jesus, replaced by another of Forest's summer signings. As on comes Arno Kalimuenko. And I think Callum Hudson-Odoi has made way for Dan Undoy as well. So a double change for Ange Postecoglou. I guess Igor Jesus hasn't been able to influence from the front in this second half, Scott, as he did in the first.
No, but I think it's almost, give us an hour. It's what's coming up to 65 minutes. Give us your best. And he's done a lot of running, both with and without the ball. He's done very well in terms of, obviously, the most important thing, sticking the ball at the back of the net. He's held the ball up well. He's run the channels well. He's also pressed in that first line of pressing, of defending, that managers always want their strikers to do. So he's absolutely run his proverbial socks off, and he's saying, right, let's just get some fresh legs up to keep that intensity up.
The Betis Ultras still in fine voice, many of them with their shirts off. It is a warm night in southern Spain. They call Seville the frying pan of Spain. I can tell you, so someone who's been there in the height of summer, they aren't wrong.
But it's the hottest mainland city in Europe, isn't it?
Yes, sweltering conditions at times. Not quite the case this evening. It's certainly very pleasant for those travelling from the Midlands. It's been a pleasant evening for Forest so far as well, leading 2-1 here with 66 minutes played. 2 goals in the space of 4.5 minutes in the first half from Igor Jesus, who's now been taken off. Cancelling out the early opener from Bakambu. Celtic ahead in Belgrade, leading Red Star by a goal to 0. It's now Newcastle 3, Bradford 1. Second on the night for Joe Linton. Cook replying for Bradford as Forest come forward into the penalty area. Oh, and that might have been a handball, was it? It was Kalimuenko who made the run, and as he looked to pull the cross back, it seemed to flick off the arm of Rodriguez. Maybe the referee will decide it was close proximity, and actually I don't think he could really have got his left arm out the way.
No, it wasn't in an unnatural position. There was no time at all to get his arm out the way. But Calimuendo, that's a really good opportunity for him. I thought Anderson was going to go out to the left again, but he didn't. He played him in, and if his first touch was better, he would have been through on goal, a one-on-one. Great opportunity, maybe just came a little bit too early for him.
67 gone. Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 2. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, your home of European football. Rodrigo Riquelme for Betis, urging Nathan to come forward over halfway. Are you surprised we've not seen Chris Wood yet?
Maybe, yeah, a little bit. I mean, you know, that was the moment to do it, wasn't it, to bring him on rather than Calimuendo, but he's clearly thinking, I don't know whether he's got a little niggle at all, but to talk about resting. But yeah, it was an interesting decision for him to stay on the bench.
No, free kick here for Real Betis. It was Rodriguez, the left back, with a cross that struck the arm of Nico Williams down by the left corner flag. Referee just waited to see if there was an advantage. There wasn't. And it's going to be an opportunity for Real Betis to flood the Forest penalty area away to our left here, with only about a quarter of the match remaining. Matt Sells just looking a little bit pensive, the Forest goalkeeper. Although I do think they have the aerial advantage, Ange Postecoglou's side, so they might have to try something clever here with a free kick. Real Betis, they put it in the air, you would fancy Forest to deal with it. It's floated towards Anthony, right corner of the penalty area, but nodded clear by Calimuendo. And then Anthony, facing his own half of the field, plays it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Pau Lopez, yellow shirted, away to our right hand side. Lopez scoops a pass out to the right, but it's overcooked and Forest have a throw.
Take that, completely giving the ball away, just trying to wrestle back a bit of control. It's not as if they have created like open, clear-cut chances, but there's no doubt about it, they've been much better in the second half, and they've kept the ball. Yeah, they've done it really well, but can they open Nottingham Forest up? And well, as I say, it's not normally a defensive display from Ange Postecoglou's side you'd expect of what we've seen, but it has been brilliant, it really has.
It's now Red Star Belgrade 1, Celtic 1. Marko Arnautovic, the former Stoke and West Ham striker, with the goal. Here's Anthony crossing towards the far post. Good header away by Nico Williams under pressure from Riquelme on the edge of the 6-yard box, and then Zinchenko completes the clearance at the expense of a Betis throw. Still just had the one attempt on target, Real Betis. That goal from Bakambu in the 15th minute, cancelled out by a quick-fire double from Igor Jesus as Forest lead 2-1 away from home. They'll be disappointed with that. 2 attempts in the second half. Real Betis, none of them have troubled Matt Sells in the Forest goal.
And that's what we've been talking about. Now, yeah, they have had a lot of possession and they have looked as if they've been threatening to a point, but they haven't tested Matt Sells in the second half, and that is testament to the way that Forest have defended from the front all the way to the back.
Anthony trying to make hay down the right-hand side, but it was a good piece of defending by Dan Ndoye, another of Forest's summer acquisitions. Ndoye, signed from Bologna for £34 million, scored in his debut against Brentford on the opening day, but he's conceded a free kick here in a promising position as far as Betis are concerned. They're going to make another change as well, and it's another attacking move. Hernandez will be coming on for Real Betis, trailing 1-0. No, 2-1 rather. They've got a free kick here and a chance to whip it into the penalty area from the right-hand side. Teasing delivery that Nottingham Forest haven't really dealt with. Rodriguez with the high cross into the box, nodded down by the goal scorer for Betis, Bakambu. Again, Forest defending that well. There's an incident off the ball. Sangare very much involved. It's Rodrigo Riquelme who goes down. Referee unmoved at this stage as the cross comes in from Amrabat and headed straight into the arms of Sells by Bakambu. Riquelme still rolling around in pain on the edge of the penalty area. I wonder if he just got caught by the frailing arm there of Sangare. In fact, it was Milenkovic, was it?
Yes, it was. But just good defending at the far post, actually. I want to mention Zinchenko, not the tallest. And Nathan had gone up there, big centre-half. If you can't win the ball when that ball comes in, you make sure that your opponent is not able to get a proper header on it. That's exactly what Zinchenko did.
It was Nathan with a header, with Bakambu making a dart ahead of him. Meanwhile, Hernandez is on for Real Betis. Cucho Hernandez, the Colombian, making his European debut tonight. And it's Bakambu who makes way. So something different, Scott, for the Forest defence to contend with for the final 18 minutes plus stoppage time.
Yeah, look, it's like for like, but Bakambu really talked about how Betis seemed to have a lot of the ball in the second half and not really got him in, to get a shot at goal. So there's no doubt about it. Forest are looking reasonably comfortable. Be careful what I say here. So why not change it up? Cucho Hernandez is a very good centre-forward.
And he's made 4 changes now. Manuel Pellegrini, as Forest give the ball away to Riquelme. Returns it to Morata, but he's been dispossessed by Anthony, and then Hernandez with his first touch fires a tame shot from a tight angle straight into the gloves of Matt Sells.
I think Tame is being kind to him. That was a really poor attempt at a shot. Difficult angle for sure. Either whip it across, and then even if none of the Betis players can get to it, the Forest players are facing their own goal, running towards it, not wanting to get a touch on it, or get a proper shot.
Nico Williams in the right back position for Forest. 2-1 they lead with 74 minutes now on the clock here on Talksport 2. Still Red Star Belgrade 1, Celtic 1. It's now Newcastle 4, Bradford 1. Will Asula with his second of the evening, and still only Port Vale 0, Arsenal 1 over on Talksport. 12 minutes to go there in the Carabao Cup. Here's Bakwa for Forest, down the right-hand side level with a penalty area, looking to take on Rodriguez. Crosses left-footed towards the far post, and Doyle was lurking, and Ortiz does well actually, because it was a mismatch in terms of height, but stayed strong and nods it behind for a corner.
Well, again, that's what we talked about. Good full-back play just before from Zinchenko. Good full-back play from Ortiz. There's a really lovely little run for Bakwa. He looks to shape as if he's going to go down the outside, cuts inside, whips a really good ball to the far post, and Ndoye tries to get there. One more goal and it definitely kills Betis off, but the game's still on.
Yeah, corner from the Forest left-hand side. Milenkovic and Morato summoned forward from the back. It's whipped in towards the near post, but didn't clear the first man, headed away by Ortiz. And here's Anthony now, trying to run it. Zinchenko gives the ball away. It was Dan Ndoye who took the disappointing corner, but he got back there and helped out Zinchenko under pressure. And now Elliot Anderson brings the ball down his chest just inside the Forest half, away to our left. 15 minutes to go here. 15 minutes Forest away from a victorious, triumphant return to Europe, their first European game in more than 10,000 days. And the moment is going to end with a win.
It's a lot of days.
It is indeed. It's a reckless challenge from Rodriguez. And it results in the second Betis yellow card of the evening, catching Bakwa, who makes the most of it going down.
Yeah, but it's a ridiculous tackle, and I think it's someone, a fullback, who knows. And obviously I was never in this position before in my career, that perhaps I've got a good winger up against me. He could go past me, so you don't want to give him any chance whatsoever. Bakwa comes inside, it's a definite foul, and because of the force he comes in, it will be a yellow card.
Scores from elsewhere in Europe tonight as Pablo Fornals, once of West Ham, replaces Giovanni Lo Celso. Michelin beats Sturm Graz by 2-0. They're two of the sides that Forest will face in this league phase. PAOK 0, Maccabi Tel Aviv 0. Dinamo Zagreb lead Fenerbahce by 2-1. Freiburg 2-0 up against FC Basel. Malmo 0, Ludogorets 2. Forest hosting Malmo as well before the league campaign is over. Nice 1, Roma 2, and it's Sporting Braga 0, Feyenoord 0. Here, Nottingham Forest still leading by 2-1, as it was after 23 minutes.
We're not getting those 12 goals, are we?
All right, looked a little bit optimistic from you, Scott Minto. Here's Gibbs White forward. Picked up by Paul Lopez. I'm sure Calawendo couldn't go for it because he was in offside position.
Yeah, I'm sure Forest fans will be desperately hoping there will be no more goals. It has been a fantastic first half performance, attacking-wise. I'll tell you what, it's been a really good, impressive second half performance, defending-wise.
I mentioned that Forest fans have been over in Seville for a few days now. Mrs. Crook was actually partying the night away on Monday at an 80s club with a lot of their supporters. As Anthony looks for a free kick on the edge of the penalty area, not given, but Betis still have possession here. Oh, it's a brilliant effort, flashed across the face of goal by Hernandez, just for a moment. Goalkeeper Sells was scrambling. It was Pablo Fornals actually just off the bench, and I think rightly, Scott, he's claiming that maybe they should have a corner. Goal kick's the decision.
Yeah, do you know what? It's kind of swerved so much. I think it looked like it had a deflection, but I actually think that's the right decision.
Spurs have got a third goal in stoppage time in their Carabao Cup third round tie. Tottenham 3, Doncaster 0. Some big guns going into that fourth round draw. Arsenal still just about in front against Port Vale, leading 1-0 over on Talksport. And here in Seville, it's Real Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 2.
By the way, did Mrs. Crook have a night to remember with the 80s?
I think she certainly did. She certainly went to bed long after me, put it that way. Here is Rodriguez for Betis. Despite all their possession in the second half, they are still waiting to carve out that one golden opportunity to get back on level terms. The home team. Here is Rodriguez, though, over halfway, plays the ball into the centre of the Forest half, won initially by Anderson and then Sangare mopping up in front of his back four. Calawende can't make the ball stick though up front, and here is Riquelme. Plays the ball to the edge of the penalty area and Fornals. Riquelme trying to slide it forward, intercepted by Milenkovic, but still Real Betis have it with Ortiz down their right hand side. Cucho Hernandez with a cross that hits Zinchenko in the face. He goes down. It's going to be a corner. It's a painful one for the Ukrainian fullback for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, just a little bit too open though from Forest now. It's kind of on the attack, lost the ball, no midfield, or certainly 3v1, and then Betis are on the attack again. And look, it's good defending, it's good positional play from Zinchenko, but I was also looking at Milenkovic, how he was telling Nico Williams, look, there's a guy behind you at the far post, you watch out. It's just brilliant communication from the centre half that you don't always get nowadays. Everyone just ball watching, and they're not taught to talk. Well, certainly Milenkovic was talking through Williams there, and if that ball goes to the far post, you make sure he's picked up.
Well, Forest are unhappy here that Zinchenko, having gone down, having taken the ball in the face, has been ordered off the pitch by the referee. I wonder if they're going to have to defend this corner with only 10 men. Zinchenko waiting for the signal that he can come back on. Corner has been taken. Here's Anthony now into Fornals. Fornals with a low cross into the penalty area. Hits Nathan on the chest and bounces harmlessly into the arms of Sells. I think if they'd scored there, Ange Postecoglou would have been raging with the official for making Zinchenko go off the field.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. Obviously rules are saying he has to go off, but it's a head injury, so he had to do it. He should have allowed him to come on. Still, you've got to defend with 10 men. It's a set piece. He should be able to do that. And the fact that Fornals had an opportunity to put Nathan in, it's not good enough there from Forest.
Cucho Hernandez, dispossessed by Anderson in the centre of the Forest half. Not showing any great ambition here, Forest, to look for the third goal, just trying to defend this 2-1 lead. They've got a throw in right in front of Ange Postecoglou with Ryan Yates stripped and ready to come on, the club captain. Full times, by the way, from the Carabao Cup. Huddersfield 0, Manchester City 2. Newcastle beaten Bradford by 4-1. It's finished Tottenham 3, Doncaster 0. And what a proud moment for Ryan Yates, big Nottingham Forest fan. He comes on to replace Sangare for the final 9 minutes. Someone who bleeds Garibaldi red. He knows exactly what tonight means to those travelling supporters from the Midlands.
How many divisions has he scored in again?
Pretty much all of them.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be looking to score tonight. His job is just to see this out, game management. And as you say, someone who cares so much about his club, and he's pretty much seen it all, certainly throughout his career. Very proud to be on the pitch now and helping his side. What would be, after 3 decades out, an historic win.
Matt Sale's just got a talking to from the referee there, delaying the free kick being taken. When he does take it, he punts it all the way into the gloves of his opposite number, Pau Lopez. There is a bit of symmetry on the benches tonight as well. Ange Postecoglou's first ever European game as a manager was a 4-3 defeat against Real Betis for Celtic back in 2021. Pellegrini was the Betis manager that night. Here's Postecoglou about to turn the tables here. 7 minutes to play. Betis 1, Nottingham Forest 2. No real chances for Forest to add to that tally in the second half. Here's Pablo Fornals crossing into the penalty area, stooping header away by Williams. Put back in by Rodriguez, the fullback, and it was an awkward header away then by Milenkovic. It's given away by Williams down by the corner flag, and then he's dragged Riquelme to the ground. I think he's a bit fortunate there, Nico Williams, not to get a yellow card.
Well, it's definitely a foul. Get rid of it. Riquelme does well, to be fair. And then he's tripped him up. Definite foul. It was a 3v2, so you either just play really quickly first or second time, or just knock it long. And we're getting to the stage there. You don't need to be proud. Just have to keep the ball. Just knock it long.
Second goal for Arsenal. Leandro Trossard off the bench. Those finishers are at it again. Port Vale 0, Arsenal 2 in the Carabao Cup live on Talksport. Here comes Fornals with a free kick for Betis towards Anthony on the edge of the area. They've tried that one before, the sort of Paul Scholes half volley from a free kick, but he skews that one, Anthony, out for a throw on this near side. He isn't Paul Scholes.
I was just about to say that. No, he's not, bless him, but not many are. But again, I mean, you mentioned about Forest have the height, but still, you get the ball in the dangerous areas. What are the odds of that 40-50 yard ping and then that volley going in the top corner? Get it into the box, get into the area, win the knockdowns, and Forest should be absolutely delighted they tried that.
Forest 6 minutes away from victory on their historic return to Europe here on Talksport 2. Ball is in the arms of Pau Lopez, the Betis goalkeeper, who bowls it out to Ortiz down the right. 53% possession now for Real Betis, but they've not turned that possession into too many clear-cut chances, if any, in this second half. Riquelme looking to change that. He sprints away from Bakwa, but Bakwa gobbles up the ground and then knocks the ball out for a Betis throw. Level with the penalty area on this near side, the left. Fornals with a clever little flick into Riquelme. Crosses with the outside of the boot, cleared as far as Fornals. Into Cucho Hernandez. Maybe an opportunity here for Real Betis. Right across the face of goal and turned in by Anthony. Wouldn't you just know it? The man who struggled under the weight of expectation at Manchester United is thriving with the adoration of the Betis fans. And with 5 minutes to play, Anthony may just have denied Forest victory on their return to Europe. It is Real Betis 2, Nottingham Forest 2, Anthony the hero.
Well, we said Betis will come on much stronger in the second half. They've certainly been playing better, but it's not as if they've really troubled with clear-cut opportunities. We also said at 2-1, they're very much in the game, and it's so disappointing to concede late on. And the ball's gone to the far post, and Chenko hasn't got near Anthony. It's with his right foot. I'm not 100% sure he's meant it exactly to go in the place where he has, where it's almost the only place that he could have scored. I'll tell you what, if Forest don't win this, they'll be kicking themselves, because they have been the better side. I mean, they dominated the first half, and second half it was a really good defensive display. But again, all the while there's only one goal in it. The opposition are still in the match.
And it was a goal made in the Premier League, really. Roca, once of Leeds, with a cross along the 6-yard line and side-footed in at the far post by Anthony with his wrong foot, as Scott has alluded to. He got 9 goals last season during a very successful loan spell, and he is off and running in the Europa League to maybe deny Forest victory. And who knows, there could yet be a late sting in the towel. 87 on the clock, it's 2-2 in Seville. We expected goals, we expected drama, and certainly that's what we've got. A little altercation there with Pablo Fornals involved. Free kick in the end for Forest that will be taken in the right-back position by Nico Williams. Still 1-1 in Belgrade. Red Star against Celtic. Pretty much all over on Talksport. Port Vale 0, Arsenal 2 in the Carabao Cup. You are listening to Real Betis against Nottingham Forest in the Europa League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Anthony was certainly here for it as that ball came all the way along the 6-yard line. He turned it past Matt Sells, and Betis back on level terms late in the game.
But look, at the start of the game, if you'd have said to me it'd be a 2-2 draw, I'd say I'd take that all day long to Forest. But there is no doubt about it, Manuel Pellegrini would be the happier manager having a point than Ange Postecoglou, if it stays at 2-2.
Here's Ortiz running at Zinchenko, edge of the penalty area. Zinchenko did well as Ortiz looked to cut inside, just stood firm, didn't go diving in, and regains possession for Nottingham Forest. What I would say, they've not really shown much attacking intent, Forest, in the second half.
No, they haven't.
That might change now with Calamuendo. Pass intercepted, and here's Riquelme, dispossessed by the sliding Nico Williams, and then given away again by Calamuendo. I don't think he's been that good since he came on.
No, he hasn't. I mean, with hindsight, it's a substitution. I think you'd rather have Igor Jesus on. Even there's no defender around him. The ball's played into him in the centre circle. He's got to hold the ball up. His first touch has to be better. I think, again, hindsight, wonderful thing. If you're going to make a substitution, Chris Wood would have been better to come on. I'm not going to knock Ange for that, though.
Real Betis 2, Nottingham Forest 2, into the 89th minute here on Talksport 2. You wouldn't rule out a 5th goal, Scott?
Well, I didn't think the 4th was coming, but to be fair to Betis, they're going for the win, and Forest are not able to just flick that switch. You know, when they're trying to play the ball in and get into attack, they're just losing it quite simply. They've got into that mode of, we want to try and sit back and defend the lead, and now they just can't turn it around.
Walk whistles from the Betis fans. Warner gives White in possession, very deep in his own half, and now Nico Williams has been upended, has he, by Riquelme. Free kick for Forest. We've got 20 seconds plus stoppage time to play. I don't think there'll be too many added minutes. The second half has flown pretty well. Opportunity for Forest to come forward with Dan and Doy, but Nathan across clears the danger, but can't keep the ball in place. So it's going to be a throw-in down by the right corner flag. Seconds remaining of normal time now. And in fact, just 3 added minutes at the end of the 90. So 3 minutes for one of these two to find a winning goal.
Yeah, I mean, can Forest do it? Can Forest nick it? We've got a throw-in deep in Betis' half. You'd almost feel like now, after the way it's gone, and then Betis getting that equaliser, that probably 2-2 is a fair result, but they'd still feel that Forest should have seen it out, really.
Long throw into the penalty area. Yates was climbing at the near post, but it's scooped clear by Sofian Amrabat for Real Betis. Picked up now inside the centre circle by Morato. They're coming forward down their left-hand side. Hudson-Odoi with a cross towards the far post. The goalkeeper had to deal with that as it was looping towards the top corner. He watched it all the way, Pau Lopez, and collects cleanly enough. We've played the first of the 3 added minutes. It's still 2-2. Anthony, scorer of the Betis equaliser, plays the ball back into Marc Roca inside the Betis half of the field. Now Rodriguez, the fullback. Looks like Betis are just slowing the game down, content with a point, having come from behind. Here's Riquelme, though, who has made an impact since coming off the bench, the diminutive wide man, former Bournemouth player. And then Nathan out to his right-hand side as Forest have got everybody in red camped behind the ball. Certainly been a learning experience, hasn't it, for many of these Forest players who won't have tasted European football before.
No, look, it's been an excellent performance. I thought first half they were absolutely superb. I think 2-0 would have been a fair scoreline at half-time. But to be fair to Betis, they have really come at Forest. They've tried their best, but just not as if they've had too many clear-cut chances. We said that maybe they needed that third goal in the first half. You're right, they haven't really attacked too much in the second half, but disappointed to concede in the way they have.
Cucho Hernandez out to the right. One last chance maybe for Betis. Ball into the penalty area, headed up but not really away by Nico Williams. Banquo lets it drop on the edge of the box, and Elliot Anderson imperiously takes over just when Forest maybe were feeling a bit of pressure. Such a calm head on still relatively young shoulders, Elliot Anderson. Now Dan and Doy dribbling the ball away from the edge of his own penalty area. Gibbs White back into the box, and Morato. And unless Forest can get this ball forward quickly, I think that probably will be it. You need to start thinking, Scott, about your man of the match, as Willy Bolly is about to come on for Forest. And I think that's a reflection that Ange Postecoglou is just trying to run down the clock and is happy with the 2-2 scoreline.
Yeah, absolutely. He wants to see it out now, and I think he will. We're literally seconds away from the 3 minutes being up as well, so it's an interesting one for man of the match. Two standout players to me in the first half, but no one's been standout in the second. They just worked hard defensively for sure, but I think I know where I'm going.
Real Betis 2, Nottingham Forest 2 here on Talksport 2. Willy Bolly, the veteran, is on. Not sure he'll even touch the ball in these final few seconds. But it's a substitution designed to waste time. Milenkovic replaced by Ange Postecoglou. Referee did indicate he would add on the time it took for that substitution, and Anthony is coming forward for one final attack for Real Betis. Score of their equaliser. Brought down over on the far side, but the referee says no free kick, and there is the full-time whistle. Well, for a long time it looked as if Forest would be making a victorious return to European action, taking the lead, having fallen behind early. Bakambu put Real Betis in front, but 2 goals in a little over 4 minutes from Igor Jesus gave Ange Postecoglou's side the half-time advantage, and it took until 4 minutes from the end for Anthony, the former Manchester United man, to rescue a draw. It finishes Real Betis 2, Nottingham Forest 2, a point for Forest after 29 years away from European competition. And time now for Scott Minto to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Go for it, Mr. Minto.
Well, look, I mean, he wasn't sort of dominating the whole game. I think the second half was very much a defensive performance as a team, so there certainly wasn't any standout players. So I'm going to go on the first half performance. Igor Jesus obviously got the 2 goals. I think Elliot Anderson was just superb. He was controlling the tempo of the game. He was going past players while he was almost going in second gear. The sort of use of the ball was so good. His positional sense defensively was absolutely brilliant. So as well as Igor Jesus has done by scoring again 2 goals in the game, I'm going to give it my man of the match to Elliot Anderson.
There you go, that was our man of the match, Here For It hero with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.